Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right, and you tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast, where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. Before we get into it, make sure you go and check us out on our socials on X and Instagram at ViewerNonPod, on Facebook, VA Pod Watch Group, YouTube at Viewers Anonymous. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Viewers Anonymous. And get all of our behind the scenes episodes. We just dropped the episode yesterday, or I'm sorry, today. I'm tripping. But a brand new episode is up. You guys can go check that out. And last but not least, make sure you're following us on Spotify. Make sure that you're listening and watching us on Spotify as well. What's up, my guy?
Man. First of all, man, I just want to say for the people, all right. Now, we don't do this. We don't really talk about it much, but so we before we did the Patreon last night, so we had a conversation about how we wanted to treat it, and so we both in agreement. And I just want to tell y'all, we did a fire ass episode.
Absolutely.
All right, is by the time y'all hear this, is going to be out, but we just doing a different type of content over there now. And I'm excited about it. So I was really excited about the episode we did. I think that that the type of material that we're about to start doing on there, I think for the people, if we got some listeners that's been fucking with us, for a while back, it's going to be a lot of that type of content. So I was just happy about that. And just to say that, we had a conversation, before we did. And also some of the stuff that we did on the 5-year anniversary episode, where we sticking to our guns. So just happy about that, man. I just wanted to say that. But how about you, man? How you feeling? Everything good?
I'm feeling great, man. We back, baby. Spring is here. You know what I'm saying? No more snow. I'm good.
Damn,
you know what I'm saying? I'm excited about that, man. The warm weather is back. It was like 55 today. You know what I'm saying? I was riding around with the windows down. It was good, man. It was real good.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Absolutely. But today we have a very interesting episode, man. So we were talking and we were looking for a documentary to cover, and I was telling you about this one that I found on Max. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like I got sold. Okay. I feel like they dangled a carrot in front of me, and then they yanked it right when I was about to, get a chance to grab the carrot, and they was like, "Yeah, this shit is over with." I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't know about this one. I think I might have made a bad choice with this one. But anyway, before we get into it, first and foremost, we're doing the documentary called An Update on Our Family. And this is pretty much a documentary about a family who was chronicling their lives by vlogging on YouTube. And they had kind of, gained some popularity, and everybody was enjoying their content. And then they decided to adopt a young kid from China, a young baby from China. And I think he was 3.
Yeah.
And and they finally got him over there, and they was, they had him in the content, and everybody was enjoying it. And after a while, he started to become the star of the show. And in the midst of that, everybody, kind of like dug into their content even more. They started gaining some fame, and then next thing you know, this little nigga disappeared. And yeah, the internet was like, yo, nah, we not having that. What happened? And pretty much ruin these people's lives.
Okay.
So where do you want to start with this shit? Once again, I apologize. Okay?
Hey, let me tell you.
I feel like I let us down.
I watched an episode and I
Yeah.
was like, yo, hey, remember I texted you. You didn't respond
Mhm.
to the next day, but I was like, am I watching the right shit? I was like,
Yeah.
this just don't feel like something that you would watch. I was like, the flow of this just ain't flowing.
Right.
And so I wanted to make sure because I was like, I don't know about this, but I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know. And then it started to get interesting. Well, at least I thought it was getting interesting
Toward the
around the
end of the first
middle of the
episode.
second. Well, for me, the middle of like the second one, I was
Okay.
like, oh, I was like, okay. I'm thinking we about to have a goddamn murder mystery. Man, they're about to find this dude in the backyard
That's what I
dead,
thought.
right?
That's what I thought. That was one of the main reasons when I seen the trailer for it. I'm like, oh, we gotta watch this. I'm like, I know they just killed somebody kid. I know for a fact they gonna went to jail. These niggas is under the jail, all that. Yeah, nah.
Nah, that's not what we got. And
Nah.
I was like, because I'm sitting here like, man, I was like, because the way that they led it up, I was like, yo, man, they killed this little kid, bro.
Mhm.
Like, but okay, so let's go with what we got. So I'm watching this shit. I'm instantly disinterested, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
So I'm watching this, and they're
He
telling
said
us about this
disinterested.
family. Because this is my thing. You know, I don't fuck with reality TV.
Right.
That's something I just don't watch. I just it's no disrespect, but it's just something I never got into. And when it comes to these people that do these things, like I remember, so let me get this out there. And I've been speaking about this, you know, this is nothing to hide. I've been talking about this for years. So my oldest boy got
Yeah.
autism.
Right.
So now not as severe as this kid. Like,
Mhm.
you know, this kid got, you know, there because there's stages of this shit. My
Right.
son is, you know what I'm saying, he's functional. Like some
Mhm.
kids are very high functional. My kid is like, you know, above functional. You know what I
Right.
mean? He could do shit like he'll be able to get a job and all that shit like that. But like,
Mhm.
you know, I'm still in that stage of not knowing if he'll ever live on his own. Like the
Right.
jury's still out on that, you know. So, but this kid was, you know, he's on the spectrum, like,
High on
you
the
know,
spectrum. Yeah.
yeah, like to the point where they were saying, you know, he might not, you know, get his bodily functions down right.
Mhm.
My kid is nothing like that. But anyway, so what was my point? Oh, so I don't like reality TV. So, but anyway, the point I bring it up because my son, he used to like to watch like people going into store. He watch YouTube videos of people
Mhm.
just shopping, right? And I'm like, who watches this bullshit, bro?
Bro, they
I'm
all
like,
watch that shit. No, this
that's
is
what I'm
I'm gonna
saying.
tell you
It's
one that I'm gonna
crazy.
tell you one that pissed me off. My kids used to watch other kids play with toys
Yeah,
that they
I
had.
do. I don't understand it. And these motherfuckers making thousands of dollars a month
Yeah.
off of just simple shit. And I'm like, who my thing was like, who even came up with the concept of like, hey, we're gonna go to Walmart today and we're just gonna
Right.
view, you know what I'm saying, film myself shopping and people digging this shit. I ain't trying to be funny. And I look, man, we doing real motherfucking content right here. We
Mhm.
trying to get motherfuckers to watch us, and we got people out here making thousands of fucking
Hey
dollars and
nigga,
shit
it's time to go
just walking
shopping.
through the goddamn grocery store. Like
It's time to go shopping, bro. We gotta
that's what
go
I'm saying,
shopping.
man. That type stuff, it really pisses me off. I'm
No,
dead. If there's
have you ever seen somebody recording that content like in real life?
no, I never seen nobody do it. No,
Hey, I thought so. I've seen it online before. Like I've seen seeing people do it online before, but seeing it in real life is some sick shit. Like these motherfuckers literally walk around the store with a tripod and their phone, and like they'll set the tripod up, press record, go all the way around to whatever they're supposed to be doing, walk all the way back, press stop, put the tripod to the next spot, do the same thing, press record, go, do whatever they got to do, come back, press stop. They do that throughout the whole trip.
Mm-mm.
So like when they walking into the store, like how you see them walking into the store,
Yeah.
they press record, walk into the store, walk back out, press stop. They go put it on the inside. They walk into the store. I mean, they press record, walk out, walk in, press stop. So seeing somebody do that in real life, I'm like, bro, just get a helper. Have somebody recording this for you. It's so much easier.
It's crazy. It's the wildest shit I've ever seen. And
Absolutely.
these people are making like you know what I'm saying? I work full time. These people are just
they making
putting together
thousands,
content
millions
for some of the most simplest shit. And it's like, and it's and I look at it like who really does this, but like also who's watching this shit. And I'm not doing this to you know what I'm saying, degrade anybody. It's just I'm just not into it. Let's just say I'm just not into it. So I'm watching this, and like so that there's this, you know, it started out with the one what's her name? Micah? What was her name?
No, it was it Mika? It might have been Micah.
I think it's Micah. She was a white girl.
Yeah, Micah Stauffer.
So it started out with her, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And she was a single parent and all this type of shit. She's just filming herself, and then she got a kid in the video. And then she meets this guy. Then they had this whole big family and all this type of shit. And I'm sitting here like, first of all, like this is a thing. Like my thing is like, one thing that I would never do is, especially like at the ages that these kids were, like I wouldn't film my kids every day, just life.
Right.
I'm not using my kids for content.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just me. That's just a personal choice.
And it's dangerous as fuck.
Yeah, and then you putting them skeptical of like just stupid shit. Like,
right.
Because I think it gets to a point where you probably got to start like homeschooling these motherfuckers, because it's like,
hey, one of the families was doing that.
Yeah, because it gets to a point where they probably can't even really go to school.
Right.
So I'm watching this and I'm like, yo, man, I'm not into this. And like I said, I was questioning, was I even watching the right thing? Because I was like, I don't know. So anyway, so she's, you know, they're doing this thing. She got this family or whatever. And so like, and so everybody's just bigging this girl up, like bigging her up, and all this type of shit. Then she started getting all these sponsors and all this shit, and she got so many subscribers. And I'm sitting here watching this shit, and I'm like, yo, fuck this bitch, man. Like, I'm like, no, I know it sounds like hater shit. I know it do, and I'm cool with people thinking that, but it's just like I just feel like, at least like what I'm doing, like have some substance. like this is just people just filming they everyday. Like, yo, this motherfucker filming videos about cleaning a house, bro. Y'all don't know how to clean your house, y'all watch another motherfucker clean their house.
This is what I've gathered from just having people that I know, right, that watch reality TV. So my mom and my ex-wife used to watch the Housewives joints. Okay, they used to watch the Housewives, and they used to watch the Kardashians. And when I tell you that they would be into it, I'm talking about they had favorite people. They had people that they didn't like. Like, and when it go off, they would talk about it. And then, you know, it used to be on the Housewives, used to be a show that came on after that. And so they would watch that show, and then they would talk about that show. So like they were really into like that. I think America has not all of America, but some Americans have a fixation on watching other people live a life that they want to live. Because if I remember correctly, this started with like Real World or like Road Rules or something like that.
Yeah, Real World. Yeah. Yo, I did not know Heather B was on the first season, bro. You know Heather B with that's with
Yeah,
Sway.
yeah.
I did not know she was on the first
Heather,
season. That shit was crazy.
Heather B has lived 1,000 lives. Did you know that? First off, not only so that's I've never heard of that, by the way. I'm glad you said that because now I got to go look this up. So Heather B is a radio co-host on Sway in the Morning. Heather B is also a rapper.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? She has albums out. She's been excuse me. She's been featured on tracks with like major artists. So this ain't like somebody just like, oh, I'm a rap. No. She's really. I think she was like signed at one point. Like Heather B is really that girl, and she's a fucking chef.
I hope you knew that. Yes, like she's a chef, man.
Like a chef.
Yeah.
So yeah, Heather B has lived 1,000 lives for sure. I fuck with Heather B though. That's my girl. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So like around that time, that was a thing that nobody like really was. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody thought about recording like real people doing real shit on an average day-to-day basis and making a show out of it. But I think it even started before that because remember the fucking the OJ trial was on Court TV.
True, but this is where I thought you was gonna go.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you have from what I can remember, like you're right about the Court TV thing, but like as far as like I don't know, false reality or whatever, I don't know what else to call it. So you have the real world, right? Then MTV crept into this whole world of like doing the whole Teen Mom shit. Now my ex-wife,
that was like my ex-wife used to watch Teen Mom too. Yeah,
and like I'm watching this and I'm like, yo, and I never fucked with it because I was like, so we're filming. First of all, girls that are really too young. I mean, I ain't gonna say too young because
they're not too young. They're not too young. They record them as like when they're older. But these are kids or not kids, but these are women who had kids as teens. That's how you get on. That's why they call it Teen Mom. They had kids as a teenager, but they recorded when they like 18, 19. Because I said the same thing when I first seen it. I'm like, so y'all just got pregnant teenagers on this bitch? And then my ex-wife had to break it down to me like how old they were and shit like that. So I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah. And so I'm watching this shit and I'm like, first of all, we got unexperienced parents. So it's like what they want is the chaos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I bring up that because like that's real reality parenting. Now, this is the thing. We get a lot of the times the worst version of it because that's what get ratings. Like I'm pretty sure that they had better days, but they really wanted to give us more of the bad. Yeah, everybody wants to see more of the bad days.
Yeah.
So I think that people were seeing like the success of doing stuff because like my thing was, how did you get in your head, yo, I'm gonna film us raising our kids and put it on YouTube? Like I wouldn't even think of that, but like when you think of like Teen Mom and Real World, Jersey Shore, and all this type shit, it's like, oh, like America really have a fascination with this shit. And so I'm watching this first episode, and I'm telling you, but I am disinterested as fuck because I hate to see the rise of some bullshit. And I know it sounds like hater shit. But I'm just saying, man, it's like I'm sitting here watching. I'm sitting here watching this girl in this apartment. She got grainy footage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you know, now all of a sudden this bitch got this big ass house. She got sponsors out the ass. All this. I'm like, man, fuck this hoe, man. I don't care. Man. I'm like, I don't care nothing about none of this, man.
Oh wait.
So
yeah.
And then, you know, she's doing all these pregnancy tests and all this shit and all this. So then they started to notice, like, when we would get more like high ratings, like when we about to have another baby or some shit. So now it's seeming to me, and maybe you feel the same because I don't want to jump too fast.
Right.
Are you feel? So I got a question. Like, do you feel the same way I feel as far as like these motherfuckers are like, yo, our ratings are going up, our money is going up.
Mm-hmm.
But it really goes up when we get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to feel like, are y'all just having more babies because y'all can get more ratings? Like,
Absolutely,
were
man.
you starting to feel that way?
Absolutely. The whole okay, so for me, right, I'm with you on the whole. I don't put my kids on the internet like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I might make a birthday post or whatever, little shit like that. But now that they older and they have their own social medias and that type of stuff, I don't post them on my social media. First and
Yeah.
foremost, because there's things that I share on my social media that are of the adult thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, and some of the jokes and stuff that I make on social media are also of the adult thing. I don't want anybody to see to see my social media and see my kids and go, if they, especially like if they don't like something I post or whatever, and see my kids and then like start attacking them, because people do shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really trust the people on the internet like that. And so it's for me, it's more so of a safety thing to where I just don't. That's just something I'm not trying to do. Um, like my son, he wanted to start a Twitch account so he could stream his video games or whatever, and start doing that. And I told him, I'm like, bro, I would love for you to start that now. I just don't feel like he's old enough and ready for something like that. And so I told him, once you hit 16, that's something that me and your mama talk about. And if you still want to do it then, and I could set you up and do that. But it's just one of those things where it's like, bro, I know how cruel people on the internet, I know how cruel people can be in general. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But on the internet, it's like magnified because you don't know what this person looks like. You don't know who this person is. This person is nowhere near you. This person is probably 1,000 miles away, and they just see 15 seconds of something you doing, and they just make a whole life story about you. And we've seen it over and over again. We've seen it happen to celebrities, athletes, all that shit. And so, as just being a regular kid that is, developing and coming up, like to have yourself online doing things, and then to be able to eventually see comments that says something heinous and malicious and all that is just, I don't, that's not really a good thing to deal with as a kid.
Yeah.
And I think that as a parent, if um if you are one of those people who you know, put your kids out there a lot and stuff like that. If that's okay with you, then I mean that's okay with you. There's nothing I can do about that. Even though I am against it, at the end of the day, you're the parent.
Yeah.
However, I when I was watching this and I'm looking at her, um, put these videos up and stuff. At first, it was just a thing of she was just putting up the videos, like you said, cleaning the house, going to the grocery store. She's just doing random shit, and then she end up getting pregnant, and now like they just recording everything with the goddamn baby on there, and it's like, nigga, is anything private in your life?
Yo, she was telling
I'm
everything.
like, at
Like,
this point, y'all probably got the OnlyFans popping.
like she's showing positive pregnancy tests, negative pregnancy tests, talking about how it was hard for her to get pregnant at certain times. Like she lost a baby. Forgot about that. She lost a baby. She put that. It's just like my thing is like, yo, the first thing that I'm thinking about, and I've been there before. Like the first thing wasn't I'm gonna jump on social media and say, you know what I mean, that my girl or whatever lost a baby or whatever the situation is.
Right.
Well, like my thing is everything ain't for everybody. Now,
That's
one
true.
thing I do get is like, yeah, there are some people who are or have gone through things personally in their personal life, and like, yeah, it's good to see other stuff where people may have dealt with what you dealt with in life, and it was like, were you seeking advice or something like that. I get that, but even with that, everybody's situation is different. And like it doesn't matter if like, oh well, this person lost a child. So it doesn't mean that the way that they handled it is the best way to handle it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like you still have to figure out. That's just like with parenting, right? Like I've always said, because I remember when my ex-wife first got pregnant with our first son, and so she was reading like these baby books and shit. I'm like, yo, it ain't no point of reading that shit. I was like, this is the thing about parenting. Like to me, the shit is a feel. Like, because like she was saying stuff like, oh, well, this book said you're supposed to wake him up every 2 hours and feed him. I said, girl, ain't no motherfucking way you doing that shit. I said, if that motherfucker's sleeping at night, you ain't waking this baby up to feed him. Like,
nobody eats every 2 fucking hours.
Well, it could have been too far. I don't remember what it was, but I'm just saying, like, she's reading.
I mean, but just even that, like, you don't eat to just eat. You eat when you're hungry.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. I said, you don't wake no baby up when it's sleeping at night. Like, man, if it sleeps, let it sleep. Like, so what I'm saying is, like, parenting, like, there are handbooks for it, but I think that you have to, you know what I'm saying? My personal experience was, you know, I've obviously, if we're old enough, and if you was fortunate enough to have, you know, parents or both parents or adopted parent, just parents, period. You know, you take your personal experiences, you take the good things, you take the bad things, and you kind of, you know what I'm saying, just talk to your spouse, whatever, and figure out like how y'all are going to do this type of shit. You know, there was things like, you know, one instance, right? My mom was the type, you know, she didn't really do a lot of talking. She just went straight to beating. And it's like, well, I don't want. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? That was one thing that I was like, I'm not going to do my kids like that. So it was like, that was a negative thing that I took. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing of like, I didn't grow up with the I love you word and all that type shit. That's something that I flipped where I tell my kids every day. So it's like you take different things. That's why I don't think you can take a book or a handbook. Or the reason I'm saying this is because I don't think you should go to YouTube and try to figure out how to handle your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it kind of felt like this shit was, where people are just filming their everyday life with their kids. And then you also got to understand, because the one family, I forget what their name was, but the one family was like, yeah, there's positive thing, but there's negative thing because there's so many people that have like negative things to say.
I think that was the Earls.
I think it might have been the Earls.
Yeah.
But like my thing is like, yo, everybody's not gonna agree with you. That's one of the things that you have to deal with when it comes to putting yourself out there. And I'm not even out there like that. But I remember my very first comment on a YouTube video, because you know, my journey was, you know, I read Charlemagne's book, Black Privilege, right? I think I told you the story before. That gave me the motivation to want to do something. So the very first thing that I did was I started a blog. You know what I'm saying? Where I used to, you know what I'm saying? Where I used to, you know, write stuff. I got some people to read some of my articles or whatever. Then I took the step to YouTube. Then I started making like little YouTube videos and shit. And so then anyway, the YouTube videos led to podcasting and all that type of shit. But anyway, so the very first comment I ever got, basically, dude said I was gay. That was the first comment that I got on a YouTube video. And I was like, damn, that's fucked up. And so
hey, I'm sorry, time out. I don't give a fuck what you do in life. If a dude just randomly call you gay, that shit is funny as fuck, bro. I don't care what nobody says.
No, he said it was something about something you like lighting the loafers, is what he said.
That's hilarious.
So I'm sitting here like, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
So I guess my point of what I'm saying is like, if you are jumping into this world, like you already have to know, like you have to take, like there's gonna be people who like you, there's gonna be people who don't like you, and so
a lot more people that don't like you.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to do something and then you're successful, and these people end up getting successful. Now, when it comes to the Stoffers, what's their name?
Stoffers.
So the Stoffers, they started getting very successful and they got a lot of this stuff. But anyway, let's get to the shits, man. Because
Yeah.
we 30. Oh well, you know, I guess before we get into the shit, I guess we should go ahead. I gotta pull my shit up.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So we're gonna get right back to it, y'all. I just want to get this in. So if y'all are tired of energy drinks that give y'all little to no results, all right. If so, then W Energy got you covered with a selection of energy or hydration drink mix and a variety of unique flavors. Right? They got great flavors, great tasting stuff, no jitters, no crash, zero sugar, zero filters, just clean energy.
That's right. And with ingredients like coffee fruit extract and B vitamins, W is the best choice of energy or hydration. You can even get a cool shaker like this one right here. You know what I'm saying? Or you can get other ones that's inspired with cool designs from creators, anime, and even video games. Head over to w.gg and use code VAPOD, and that's w.gg code VAPOD for 10% off your order. And that's w.gg code VAPOD. Fuel up and stay focused with W.
So this is just my opinion, and I'm gonna be flat out with it. I think that I think that they had steady money coming in. I think they was doing well, but I think that my personal opinion, they sat down and they had a conversation like, "Yo, I know what can make our numbers go through the roof if we adopt a child with special needs from another country." I think this whole shit was all
Oh, you
about
thought this was intentional?
greed. Yeah, I think this was intentional. I think this one of those situations where we always tend to see with most situations where people get greedy, where they don't settle for, like me, I'm a type person, like let's just use this podcast, right? Let's say we get to a point, I don't know, where we could start making $1,000 a month or something. Right. I'm not gonna come in here and be like, you know what, we need to do something like just off the wall and try to take this shit to 2,500. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be content with like, yo, if I could sit down in front of this fucking laptop and make $1,000 a month, I don't like I don't do this to get rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can get content with that. I think that they was making whatever they was making a month. Maybe the numbers start going down a little bit, where people started to get kind of, I don't want to call it lax with their content, but I think that maybe they wanted a splash and they wanted to make more money, and they was like, yo, if we adopt a child from another country with special needs, I think that we can start making even more money. And I think that's why they did this shit. I don't think they had, I'm not gonna sit there and say that they didn't care at all, but I think that it was more money driven than anything for them to go out and adopt this kid. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's how I feel about it.
Okay, so I don't necessarily agree. I think in the beginning, right? I think that they were just creating content, and just like anybody else who created content or does create content, I think their whole thing was, I just want to be a content creator. I want to kind of be in charge of my own life. I don't want to really work for anybody. Just pretty much this is something that I enjoy doing. For me personally, this is something that I started doing around like middle school. Not necessarily podcasting, but just creating content. At the time, I didn't know it was creating content, but it was something I started in middle school. So I would like create videos with Microsoft Movie Maker. I was able to I was real good with like PowerPoint and stuff like that. Like, so those type of things like editing skills and designing and all that type of stuff, like I pay real close attention to detail and stuff like that. So those things have always been with me. Once I got to high school, I got a laptop for Christmas, and then my aunt bought me a digital camera. And so like from there, I'm always recording stuff, around the school, in the hallways. whenever we ain't doing nothing in class, I pull out the camera, we record stuff, we doing that. You can still find videos today of me doing the Soulja Boy dance, the Crank That dance on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So like we was always doing stuff like that. I was recording my friends dunking, just all kind of stuff. So it was something that I was always into. And once I found out that this is something that you can kind of take and it can actually be something, and I was like, oh, this shit is gonna be dope. Like this is what I've always been trying to do. And so for me, it's not necessarily a thing about money. It's more so like a passion thing. It's more so a thing just I really enjoy doing this. Now, if I can make money from it, then that would be amazing. But it's not ever going to stop me from wanting to do this, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's how they kind of started off. Like, this is something that I enjoy doing. And I think once they got to the point to where they were able to monetize it, it helped. But I think the thing that really turned it into, okay, this is a money grab now, is when, because I think they initially wanted, the intention of them going to adopt the young Chinese boy was like a wholesome thing. Like they really wanted to have another kid. They really, you know what I'm saying? Like, because some people, like old girl was saying, like some people actually get addicted to having babies.
Yeah.
Some people really love like that baby phase. And so I think that was the thing, right? Like they tried to have another kid. It didn't happen. So they were rather, they went the adoption route and they went to go adopt the kid. And I think when they went to talk about it on the channel, because they're, they lambasting their life all over the internet. So they like, yo, we came to a decision. We got a big announcement. We're going to go ahead and adopt a kid from China. And when they did that, I think because the views shot up, they seen that and was like, oh shit, we might be on to something. And at that moment, I felt like that's when it was like, we might be able to make some money off this shit. And then they just started pressing it, and then it just started to become a thing. And once they really got them, like they were showing on the I think it was episode 2, but they were showing it where it was like every damn video is just about the kid. It's about Huxley. Everything is about Huxley. Like Huxley did this, Huxley did that. Huxley goes to get ice cream. Huxley ties his shoes. Like it's just a whole bunch of shit about him. And to me, I thought it was weird because here you are adopting this kid that has no. First off, he really don't have no fucking kind of knowledge of life in general. He was only what, like 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 when he got
him. Man just got here. You know what I'm saying? he just arrived. You know what I'm saying? Like, God damn, my man's still trying to get his bearings straight. And then he's leaving his home. He goes to another group, another foster family, and he was enjoying his life with that foster family. And then all of a sudden, you snatch him away from that and bring him into this family that he walking around and there's a goddamn camera in his face every 20 minutes. Like, can you imagine that shit, bro? Like, imagine if you now, not even as a kid, you now, you know what I'm saying? You get with a girl and y'all kicking it and everything else. And she just, everything she do, she got her phone out, recording everything. Eventually you'll be like, hey man, you gonna have to put that shit up.
Yeah.
So imagine being around that and not even being able to do that part. Not even being able to say, hey, I don't want to do this. You feel what I'm saying? So
exactly.
Yeah, it's like he was kind of forced into this world that first off he knew nothing about. I'm pretty sure he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
As a parent, he didn't know.
Yeah, for the most part, I don't even think he understood them. Because he didn't, I don't know if he spoke English or not yet. Or I don't know if he understood English or not yet. Because they didn't really talk about the first family that was with him. So we don't know if they were Chinese and they were speaking Chinese to him. We don't know none of that. We just know that he had a family at first. They was taking my man to the beach every day. And the next thing you know, he get ripped away from the beach and they send his ass to fucking Central Ohio somewhere. And I can tell you this right now. If they took me from the beach and put me in Ohio, it'd be hell to pay. I live here now, and I wish I could go to the beach every day. You know what I'm saying? So that type of shit, like I understood. My man, it's snowing and shit. He like, man, what the fuck is going on? Where did they put me at?
Man, look, that video, and I know this is gonna sound shitty, but so when they first went to China to go pick him up, and he came out that door, and she was sitting there open arms, and he turned around and he didn't want to go.
Oh man,
I got it's sad, but I got satisfaction from that shit.
Absolutely, because it was like, nigga, I don't want to go. Yeah. I don't even know who this is.
Exactly, like y'all just like I was good, and now all of a sudden, like who are these? Y'all open up this door, and I'm supposed to run to these people. I don't even know these people.
And that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't. It was weird the way that they did it, right? Because like usually you would think, especially like if you go into another country, like you would at least visit a couple times so he could see your face, get to know you, shit like that. Nah, they was just like, nah, we want him, and then. Next thing you know, my nigga coming out the door is like, what is going on? I don't know this woman.
Yeah. And so I like how they brought the psychiatrist Korean dude in who actually same situation. He was 3. Hey. He said it. He said
hey, my nigga threw me off though. He threw me off at one point. That nigga said, I also am. He said,
oh my God.
He said he was transracial. So
I missed that. I didn't know he said that.
He said it's transracial. So when I heard it, I was like, nigga, what? So the whole time he never addressed what race he was though. So he just said transracial and he just let it go from there. He never went back to the transracial part. So the whole time he talking, I'm trying to listen to see if like he gonna talk about like like I was Korean and then now I'm white. He never said nothing.
I think that's what he meant because he said he lived in Korea, and I think a white family must have adopted him.
No, so they definitely did. When he showed the pictures, they was white.
Honestly, I think he was trying to show respect for both sides. I think he was trying to respect his Korean side, but also respect.
I'm sorry, he could left that part. There was no need for that. You just was adopted by a white family, my nigga. You could have just said I was adopted. That's all you had to say.
Oh man,
transracial adoption, and I'm like, hey man, all that shit, bro. That what are you talking about? You was adopted, my nigga.
So,
but no, he was very necessary though.
Yeah, because he brought up a lot of great points. And that's when it started to get sad for me to the point where I really started to get, I don't want to say emotional, because I really got it was more pissed than anything. Because that's when I started thinking like, you know, the trauma of a kid being adopted in the first place. Because like now maybe when you're 3, it might not be a thing because it's kind of like you don't really understand yet. You just kind of like really for the most part, you just kind of like going with the flow for the most part. And you're sitting there, you're trying to figure this shit out. And then like once you get older, you start to look around, especially if you are of a different race, and you start to notice like, yo, I don't look like, you know, these people. Or if it's a situation where, you know, there is a black kid or a Korean kid or Asian kid that's being adopted by, you know, a different race, like you're gonna start to notice like after all, you're gonna be like, yo, like I don't look like them. I mean, look, I had to deal with that from a different standpoint of like, you know, when my youngest boy Jacoby, you know, we had race conversations when he was like 3 or 4 years old, because he knew, he was like, yo, I don't really look like my mom, I don't really look like my dad. He just knew that he looked different. And we would have conversations. He would like ask me what he is, and I'd be like, you know, you're mixed, like you're black and you're white. And he was like, when I grow up, am I going to be white? And I'm like, no, it don't work that way. So I was having
not, man. Unfortunately not.
It's really the opposite. When you grow up, you black. Like so
Absolutely.
but I say that to say, like, when you're young, you don't know, but then once you get older, you start to realize, like, yo, I'm different. Like, I'm not the same. And so it started to get what really started to kind of get like emotional for me was like when that Korean dude was talking, and I was like, yo, and the kid, I don't know if the boy had an issue with sucking his thumb before, because he could have been sucking his thumb because maybe he was stressed
Off of trauma,
or
yeah.
something. Trauma. It could have been trauma, stress, and he's just like, and that was just one of his mannerisms was to suck his thumb. Then these motherfuckers start putting duct tape and shit on his fucking thumb and shit.
Oh, that's where the problem started.
I'm
Because
like,
remember before them people seen that, everybody was, oh man, Huxley is awesome, and you guys are great. You guys are doing such a great job. You guys are doing the service of the Lord and all these other things. They're children of God. Man, they seen that goddamn thumb guard and they was like, what the fuck kind of parents are you? Why would you do this to a child? What is the brace for? Why do you have? I'm like, nigga, what the fuck do it matter to y'all?
That and also what I noticed. Now they didn't really. This is my thing. She only put up discipline videos when it came to Huxley. Oh, well, you're sitting in timeout. Oh, you're having a temper tantrum again. You telling me your kids don't ever get upset about something?
Nigga,
your kids never had this
popping. Nobody care about little motherfucking Amy and little Johnny. Nobody give a fuck about them.
Hey.
Nigga, put Huxley on TV, nigga.
I mean, this is true, but I'm just saying, like, that's when I really started getting irritated with these. I was already irritated with them in the first place, but I really like where it started to anger me a bit was like, so when it comes to him, you only discipline him. You only, you know what I'm saying, put him in timeout.
Also, I think he was also, because he was crying and he was throwing like temper tantrums and shit like that. He was kind of the only one that we seen doing it.
Yeah, and I can understand why. He probably don't know what the fuck is going on.
Exactly, because he don't know who the fuck y'all are. So that was expected, but it was also other people in there saying that too. Like, yo, you can't discipline him because you know what I'm saying. Like this nigga,
because he wanted to eat.
Right, but not even that. Just this nigga was just in a new situation.
You want to know what else pissed me off?
Yeah.
Oh my god, boy! And they didn't say it on the thing that pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like teaching him like sign language, trying to get him like to talk or whatever. Man, when that bitch threw him a treat, bro.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I was like, yo, he's not a fucking dog, yo.
That was crazy.
And they didn't say nothing. I'm like, y'all not gonna say that you're giving this kid a treat like he's a fucking pet?
But you know why they not gonna say nothing?
Yeah, but that shit had pissed me off.
Because nigga, that's exactly what this shit is. Listen, I've always felt like this. I've always felt like this. I feel like when white people go adopt kids from other countries, right? You have a slew of kids you can go get. But they always either tend to get like some kid from Africa, or they go get like some little Indian kid, or they go get like some little Asian kid. They don't never get little Vladimir from Czechoslovakia. They'll never go get one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or they'll never get like a little British kid. They'll never get one of them. They always get like some weird situation where it's like a kid of color and they like, oh, we have to pluck them out of, you know what I'm saying, poverty, and we have to do our best and do our part. And to me, I always felt weird about seeing shit like that. And then it's like the one, I forgot who the one couple was that was on there, but one of the couples was a white lesbian couple, and they had like a little black boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, when they were showing them, I'm like, it's dope to see that they're in they got a kid in a loving situation, first and foremost, right? But the thing that really bothers me is the fact that that child is going to grow up and he's going to have problems and issues that he's going to face that they can't really relate to. Right. And what I mean by that is not because he's a boy and they're women or none of that, because that's not necessarily really a thing to me. Like my mom helped me with a lot of situations, so that's not really a thing.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he's going to have to deal with certain things of being, black.
Yeah.
And he's not just going to face that from white people, but he's going to face that from other black people as well. And dealing with that, that's something that I know a lot of people are like, well, it shouldn't have to be like that, but it is, right?
Yeah, it's just the reality.
Yeah, it's reality. And so they're not going to be able to, be able to relate to him in that aspect. Now, don't get me wrong, them being lesbian, they can definitely hit the discrimination point, but them being two white women is not going to help him understand what he's going through as a young black man growing up. And so like even with even the situation, and that's another thing that they didn't really get into that I really wish they would have got into, like when the Hannah Cho girl was talking, like a lot of the stuff she was saying, she was more so talking about just being adopted, right? Like even the therapist guy, he was more so talking about being adopted, not necessarily growing up with this family who you coming from a different culture, you coming from a different place, you know what I'm saying? Like those things, and having to really adjust to those things. Another thing, Hannah Cho said that when she was 20, she realized that she was an orphan. And I was also confused then because I'm like, how the fuck were you an orphan if you was already adopted? Ain't an orphan somebody who ain't adopted yet?
Well, they get you from an orphanage. They didn't get her from an orphanage.
Saying, like, you're no longer an orphan once they get you, though, right? Like, you can't use that.
Not once they get. Well, I guess I mean I took it as she was an orphan, and they and the parent.
But I don't think she was ever an orphan though. I think like I think they got her before she got to the orphan part.
Oh well, I mean I don't know. So you talking about the girl that she had the whole book like her mom documented everything and all that type of shit? Yeah.
I think they got her before she got to that orphan part. So I think she just like throwing that orphan title on herself. I don't think she could use that.
Oh well, I mean,
but I'm not an orphan, so I don't know. If you were an orphan out there and you listening, or you happen to have once been an orphan and you're listening, hit us up and let us know how that situation works, because I don't necessarily know how orphanism works.
Yeah, but but I see your point, and to piggyback off that, like, I think that what they need is like they need some real ass, like not just regular. You need some real ass black people in your life. You need real black friends, like.
Well, not even just real black friends. You just need somebody black to be, and I'm sure they probably do. I'm not saying that they don't, but you need somebody for them to be able to relate to.
Yeah, because like that's just more of just because I think that one thing that I noticed when all of that shit was going on, like what's that? That was 2008. Yeah, it was like 17, 18 when shit got real crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. With Floyd, Sandra Bland, and like it was like every other week. The one in Minnesota really got me. That one really fucked me up because and I get everybody saying what they were saying because the dude was outside of his car and he ran back to his car. Oh, he could have had a gun in there, and it's like, yo, he ran back to his car because his kids was in the car. I shot this motherfucker while his damn kids was in the back seat. But anyway, you reading these comments online, and I think what it is like you can't have compassion for something that you don't interact with. And I think a lot of these people don't really interact with black people, so they got a perception of what black people is, and it's like, so they don't care. And that's why I think it's kind of like they'll make up all these excuses of like, oh, we'll comply or do this or do that, do this, do that. Right. And if you really, really had conversations and really on a day, maybe not daily basis, but by daily basis situation where even if you work with some black people and it's someone yo, I talk to Derek every day, and it's just like, and I notice, he'll go to certain places and people treat him different. He'll, do this and people look at him different. We went out to lunch on just some friend shit and people stared at us. It's like, it's different when you're actually interacting with Black people. And that's
really for anybody, any person of color for that matter, to be honest with you, because I mean, shit, I work in a predominantly white space. I work in a predominantly white suburb, and even when like the Mexican guys walk through, they looking at them like, the fuck are they doing in here? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's just, and this is not to bash white people or anything else like that. It's just that them being the predominant race in this country, they cover a lot of space in this country. And because they cover a lot of space in this country, they find a lot of familiarity within themselves to be able to see themselves everywhere, even in media and all of those other things, right? But also, I think just online, there's this thing where you kind of have a freedom that you really don't have in real life, right? Because like some of the shit that these people say online, they would never say to your face. They would never say that shit if it was just you and them alone. They wouldn't dare say no shit like that. But because they're in a space to where they can say some shit to you and there's no repercussion for it for them, then they feel free to just say, like the dude that was like, oh man, this nigga lighting the loafers. Yeah, but if you met me in real life, like, would you tell me that? Or would you just be thinking that? You know what I'm saying?
Or
like,
would you
it's that type of thing. Like, for instance, like even the people that were saying like some of the shit that they were saying about the Mika chick or Micah chick or whatever. Would you really be saying that if you seen her in real life? Or are you just saying that shit because you sitting at a keyboard and you know that she can't say nothing to you? And then she was making like other videos, but it's like that doesn't really do shit because that's no real repercussion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So some people just take it to the extreme. I mean, shit. Perfect example. I play video games all the time. But I can count on my hands, my feet, your hands, your feet, our kids' hands and feet, other people's hands and feet, how many times I've played Call of Duty and been called a nigger. I done played 2K and been called a nigger, played Madden and been called a nigger a bunch of times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm talking about we playing basketball for no reason. Little white kid just, nigga, just, I mean, just go off and just, I'm like, fam, why now? Like, you could have waited to get offline to do that. What is the purpose of doing it now? But I think some people understand that it elicits an emotional response, right? And because it elicits that emotional response, what they then get in return is some form of attention. And they don't care what the attention is, whether it's bad, good, whatever, because once again, there's no real repercussion. Like, there's no real life repercussion, right? So they can get online and call you all kind of different names and all that. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to skip past all of the people that's saying great things about you. You're going to go to that particular comment and you're going to have a back and forth with them. And for them, that's feeding that need for attention, right?
Yep.
And so I think that's one of the things that that Micah did wrong was she got online and she was making those response videos to people who were making negative comments, right?
Well, and deleting them. She was deleting and blocking.
But that was later. That was later.
Oh, okay,
that was when they had that's when Huxley was out of there.
Yeah.
But this is we talking about just like the initial bad comments, right? And she was like, well, if anybody doesn't like my parenting or if anybody doesn't like anything, you can say what you want, but it's not going to make a difference. This is not going to stop me. And her husband was like, yeah, high five. And this nigga was like, boom, shakalaka. Yeah, come on, bro.
This ain't NBA Jam, bro.
Corny shit. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like those type of things, that's what I mean when I say, like, I don't know if some of these parents are equipped to deal with that type of vitriol and like that type of negativity that their kid is going to eventually receive, right? Because they never had to go through that.
Yeah.
And it's obvious that they never had to go through that because they're online getting all of this love. And we see later on down the line, once Huxley is gone from all these videos and all these videos start disappearing and she starts repurposing content and all these other things. And now they're starting to get on her ass like, yo, where the fuck is Huxley? What happened to Huxley? Now all these people are making all of this negative stuff about her and it's wearing the fuck down on her. Like she ended up making a video and it's like she got bags under her eyes, she got dark circles under with the bags, you know what I'm saying? She ain't got no makeup on, hair ain't done, she in bed, she looked depressed. Like all of these things are starting to wear down on her. And it's like, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. How can you teach somebody to face adversity when you yourself can't do it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even though, you know what I'm saying, even though it's not what we would deem to be real adversity, because I mean, like, it's not that deep. Just turn the comments off and just post.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because, excuse me, because they believe in the whole social media thing so much, and they were constantly posting videos and making videos, it was a thing that they had to have that engagement. They had to see those comments. They needed to see those views go up. They needed to see all of these other things. And I think it eventually just got the best of them, right? And also with the fact that a lot of people were saying how she's, you know, she wasn't around in certain videos and all that, and she not really engaging with the kids and all that. You got to remember, man, she had about 4 of them motherfuckers. Having a child is not a fucking it's not hopscotch. Like that shit takes energy. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit takes energy and time. You know what I'm saying? You really know. You know what I'm saying? Being a single father, like you really, well, you're not really a single father no more, but you know.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Single father.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, dealing with that though, you feel what I'm saying? Having to go to work, come home, get your kids, and you got to feed them. You got to make sure they doing whatever they need to do. And, you know, just all of those things, bro. That shit, parenting is not an easy thing. It's very time consuming. It's very energy consuming. So yeah, she got about 4 or 5 of them little motherfuckers running around. Yeah, she's gonna look like that. I think that's the thing that they didn't, you know, so like that's the thing that they didn't get into either is the fact that they had a lot of kids, man.
But I also think when you look at it from the other perspective, is like some of these people who because like I said, everybody's situation is different. We don't, even the people that are criticizing her, we don't know their situation. I'm just talking about, let's say that there are, you know, some of the people that are making comments. So it's like, yo, I got 3-4 kids. I got a full-time. My husband got a full-time job. We both working and we doing our kids. Y'all are just sitting around y'all house making content.
But and they gotta understand, bro, that shit ain't easy. Making content ain't easy either.
I mean,
that shit is time consuming too.
It can be, but I'm still not gonna compare it to, you know what I'm saying, me going in and fucking delivering 130 stops a day, and then I gotta come home and I gotta cook for my kids and I gotta, you know what I mean?
Hey man, listen, if that's your job, because I 2 or 3 years ago I would agree with you, but if this is your job, right, and this is something that you do to feed your family and all of that other stuff, then this shit becomes like a consistent thing. You know how long it takes to edit some shit. You know how long it takes to edit some shit from scratch. You know how long it takes to record stuff. You know how long it takes to put stuff together. You know how long it takes to design shit. Like, you know, being a content creator, you understand that. So imagine having to do that shit consistently all the time now, because that's what you do. There's no break where you record some shit and you like, I edit it tomorrow. No, this video got to go out today because we got to make sure that we get 2 or 3 pieces of content out so we stay in the algorithm now. right? We also got to make sure that it's a certain length because people got to watch it, and the more they watch it, our retention rate is going up now, and our viewers, our viewership is going to go up now. We got to make sure that we getting people to share it. Like, not only are they doing it for YouTube, they getting on Instagram and going live. And they posting stuff on Instagram, and they got to keep you doing this across 3 or 4, maybe 5 different types of media sites. And it's constant. It's constant. Everything is content. Everything. That shit is stressful, my nigga.
No, I'm not saying that it's not.
Kids running around the house, young kids.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
True. But it's also been situations where, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so let me put this out there. So I'm going into my 17th year of FedEx, right?
Right.
So this is my 8th year of podcasting. There were times where we was doing Viewers Anonymous, we was doing the 4-3. I was still doing my my solo 28 minutes or less. And there could be times where I would pod. It could have been weeks where I potted 5 days a week, maybe even 6, and I still worked, and I still was a single parent.
Yeah, but you got to But at all the pods you did, how many did you have to edit?
Well, I've only had to edit one. Well, yeah, one.
That's what I'm saying. So you only had to edit one, and then editing one, you only had to do the audio for it. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you got to think of this. Imagine you having to do Viewers Anonymous, having to do the 4-3, and having to do 28 minutes or less, right? You got to edit the videos for all 3. You got to edit the audio for all 3. Not only do you have to do that, you have to also make clips for each of them. And you got to have a certain amount of clips. That way, when you put your clips out, you post everything up, it'll release. You got to make sure people on it, right? Not only do you have to do that, you also have to engage in the engagement that's there. So you got to be able to go through like a couple comments, read all the comments, stuff like that, right? Not only that, you still have to be engaging through all that. So you still have to get on live. Or you have to do a YouTube live, or you have to get to do an Instagram or TikTok live, right? You still got to do that for a certain amount of time to keep people engaged. Then once you're done with all that, is you got to make more content. On top of you having to go to work, on top of you having to pick the kids up from school and fix the kids something to eat, and make sure the kids bathe, make sure the clothes is washed. You still got to clean your house. You still got to go drive and get groceries. Like, it's still a fucking job.
I hear you, and we can move on because we can agree to disagree. Because I'm not going to compare that shit of climbing fucking 3 flights of stairs, delivering somebody's whole motherfucking living room, and they fucking kitchen table and dressers and fucking mattresses and all this goddamn shit that I do at work for you sitting at home doing fucking content all day and getting paid for it. It's not going to be the same thing for me because I make content.
But what happened when you in the middle of doing all that and your computer shut down?
Okay, you don't drop content for a day, like you still good.
No, you're not.
We gotta move because I'm not flipping sides. Like okay, I'm not comparing because I guess the only thing that I'm saying is like maybe I'm not editing everything and all this type of shit. But what I'm saying is I create content as well, and I work a full-time job, and I'm a single parent. I'm not gonna feel bad because your viewership is whatever her situation is. It's not the same thing. Like it's not. You know what I'm saying? Having the daily challenges.
I hear what you're saying. What I'm saying is it is when it's your livelihood, though.
I think it only becomes your livelihood when you have entered a space where you was able to gain a lot of followers. And like I say, I still haven't figured that out. Obviously, that's what we're trying to do now. Is trying to get a lot of followers.
I know, but I'm saying that's what they did though. Because remember, when Huxley first got there, their views shot up, their following shot up. People were sharing, people were more, the engagement shot up, retention rate shooting up now. Like people are fucking with this content now that Huxley is here. So when Huxley leaves and now you're getting all of this bad shit, yo, I'm not working a regular job. This is my job. So now that people ain't fucking with me, I'm losing fucking money.
What?
Because remember,
Yeah,
she's getting ad deals. Well, not just her, they are getting ad deals off of this. Remember, she was in the middle of some shit talking about, when I want to bond with my new 3-year-old baby, I use this, washing detergent that smells like a
yeah.
newborn. And then old girl was like, here I am watching the video. She doing a fucking ad for some
Laundry
laundry
detergent.
detergent.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking this is a real video. I'm thinking she's talking about something for real. And no, this shit is a whole ad. She's using him to get sponsors now.
Exactly. And so now,
Yeah.
so they get into the shit. So Huxley just started disappearing from the videos.
Yes.
And then she ended up deleting all the old videos. So people were like, yo, where's Huxley? People making all these videos about what happened to the baby. So we'll just skip to the point. She makes a video with her husband, and dude, they had motherfucking crying experts saying like she's faking tears, and like when you're really crying, the context of your eyes look like this and all
Hey
this
man,
shit.
they wasn't faking no goddamn tears. Them was real tears because they knew that now Huxley gone, that money gone.
Exactly.
It was real tears.
But I don't think they understood how significant and how bad it looked.
Right.
For them to say basically he had more special needs than we thought that we could handle, and we had to rehouse him. I think that's how they fucking put it or whatever.
Yep.
So everybody was like, yo, everybody looked at it like y'all are pieces of shit. Like it don't get tough. Because this is what pissed me off about them. Is they was like, yo, y'all think that now, like I said, I'm not comparing it, I'm just saying my experience.
Right.
My autistic kid, he was, like I said, he's high functioning. It was never as bad as what Huxley was, just from seeing some of the stuff. But there are days I love him to death. I wouldn't trade him for the world. But there are days where it gets very, very fucking frustrating to deal with him at times. He's very honest. He's very outspoken. That's just how they are. Like they don't get sarcasm. They're just straight to the point. And like sometimes, because another thing that a lot of autistic kids have is they do have attitudes. When shit don't go their way, they get mad. Like they do. Like a lot of them do. And like, yeah, that shit gets frustrating.
Oh shit. Small technical difficulties.
But I'm like, yo, I'm not just gonna be like, yo, I'm rehousing them. I can't deal with it no more. I can't. Like they just give up. They just gave up on this kid. Y'all spent all this time getting them, and then because the road got tough, y'all just gave up on them. So all these sponsors are like, yo, that's a piece of shit thing to do.
Okay. This is where we can agree to disagree. For sure. I don't agree with none of that shit. I think that the best thing that they did throughout this whole documentary was rehousing. I didn't agree with taking him away from the first family to begin with, right? To then take him to this family who is constantly recording and documenting everything. As a kid, I'm sure that's very uncomfortable. Like, imagine you being 8 years old, right?
No,
and
hold on.
I'm sure. Okay.
No, we're on the same page, but I think you just took it the wrong way. What I was meaning was
no. I'm talking about just the way the people in the documentary were talking about it.
Yeah, because
saying like they pieces of shit and all that other stuff.
Yeah, because I agree that he shouldn't. First of all, like you said, he never should have went with them in the first place.
Yeah.
And yes, it was better for Huxley to be with a different family that's not going to broadcast him all over the place. I was just meaning just the fact of giving up on him because they said that his special needs was too much for them.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say we agree to disagree, right? So like I said, I don't agree that he should have ever went with them to begin with or whatever. However, I think, like I said, I believe their intentions were genuine in the beginning. I think that once they started to see how profitable this was, I think that's when things took a turn for the worse, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of time, you don't have a certain thing, or you've never had a certain thing, and you start to get that thing, things kind of change for you, right?
Mhm.
People always say, like, when you get money, money don't change you. Money just magnifies who you are, right? So if like you've been
Yeah.
an asshole, when you get money, you're just gonna be an asshole with money.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If you're a great person, when you get money, you're just gonna be a great person with money. And so I think that for them, because they were content creators and everything else, they started to see an advantage that they had, and they, of course, you're gonna take advantage if you got an advantage. That's what you're supposed to do with an advantage. I think the more and more things start happening, and the more and more they started to see this become a big thing now. Because remember, she was talking like, "Yo, I've never been in this situation before. I'm feeling like a celebrity. Like they calling her a celebrity now at this point." And a lot of the stuff that was happening was for her. It wasn't even for the husband. The husband wasn't even getting the brunt of this shit. We were really this whole situation is talking about Micah Stauffer. This really ain't even got shit to do with the husband. He really just there. And so I think it was more so just because it was like her page and everything too. That's why they was like really focused on her. But you know, it was a point in time where they showed a video where he was sitting down with her. And it seemed like it was some progress being made, and they were having a good time. He was laughing. She was trying to teach him, certain words, and he was kind of repeating them. And it seemed like things were going good. And in that moment, after that video, that's what they said. Like they never saw him in the what's the name again. The videos weren't dropping as much or anything else like that. I do think though that because they never um they never really dealt with, what I'm saying, a child with autism. And I don't think that they necessarily really was focusing on the fact that he had autism. I think they were really just trying to do what they thought was right and just treating him like a normal child. There is a certain amount of care and a certain amount of, responsibility that comes with um, dealing with a child with any sort of mental handicap, mental disability, or any kind of physical handicap or physical disability, right? Um, I don't have to tell you that. You already know that part, as far as just like you said, dealing with a son with autism. Um, I think that the situation is that dealing with a younger child with autism too is very, very hectic, because once again, she got 7 other fucking kids in there. So she has to deal with those other kids, but also he deserves a very significant amount of time and care. And so you trying to do that, you trying to take care of your kids, and then you still trying to make everything fucking content. That shit, it culminates into this fucking ball of chaos that you're not ready for real, because it's certain things that happen that you can't make content.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they recording him while he in the doctor's office. That's not the time for content.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's certain things that they were doing that I just don't think that they were aware that was unnecessary and may have been very distasteful. But at the same time, I think what they were trying to do was they were really trying to, really make something happen for their family. And I don't fault them for that part. I fault them more so of the fact that you knew going into this what you were dealing with, right? You knew that this child had some things that needed some real attention. And um instead of saying, okay, maybe we won't be ready for something like this, and instead of doing the proper research, and instead of properly going through the proper procedures of even getting this child to begin with, you just instantly jump to it because you thought that this would be a great opportunity for your channel, right? this is where I go to where I say the best thing for them, the best thing for him and them was for him to go to the new Forever family where he could properly get the right care, so on and so forth. What I don't agree about is the fact that people on the internet calling them pieces of shit or, you know, saying all of these things, because it's like you only know what they show you. And I have this issue just with people on the internet in general. You only know what people show you, right? You don't know what goes on beyond that. That's like if somebody watches this podcast and they go, "Oh, well, Scoots is just a piece of shit. He always saying some stupid shit." Well, I'm not always saying some stupid shit. You don't know me for real. You just know what you see on this podcast.
Yeah.
So to go off of that, to judge me as a person off of that is kind of that's kind of ill-gotten, right? And so to do that to these people that you don't really know, you just see these videos that they post, and you got to remember at the same time that people, when people get in front of cameras, characters come into play. This is not the way this person is in real. You think these motherfuckers just walk around happy all goddamn day? No. I'm sure they argue. I'm sure they get into it. I'm like you said, I'm sure the other kids throw fits and tantrums, but we don't see that because they're not showing us that. And so you got stupid people on the internet who thinking, oh, well, she must be mistreating them and she doing, and then they calling police to these people housing all that. It gets to a point to where, first and foremost, they are to blame for all that shit. Because if you don't post that shit, nobody knows, right? But at the same time, everybody has to take accountability in this situation, because why are you calling the police to their house? You don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. And that was another family that got the police called on them.
No, you're right. The concerns about the abuse thing is what I'm really talking about.
Yeah.
But it's just those type of things. Now people are creating scenarios that's going on to where it's like abuse. I'm not abusing no goddamn body. Now, meanwhile, this lady could be the sweetest fucking lady to this child, and she just eventually realized, yo, let me stop making content real quick because something ain't right, and I don't know if we really capable of being able to take care of him. And the smartest thing to do would be to let him go to somebody who can take care of him. And then they do that, and it's, oh, you guys are a piece of shit. You only used him just to get your views up. Well, you can't really say that because, bitch, the views was up before he got here. We was bopping and moving shit before he got here. We were successful in monetizing before he got here. So once he got here, yeah, shit skyrocketed for sure. But you can't say that's the only reason we did this shit.
Okay, so I agree with a lot of the shit that you said.
Mm-hmm.
What I was meaning was, yes, I personally feel it was best for that child to leave that family.
Yeah,
I do agree there. I felt that this was my thing. You could have adopted, first of all, like let's not even get into the race thing.
Right.
Because what I was going to say was there's millions of kids that need to be adopted in America.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
White, everything, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, you could have adopted a kid. See, this is the thing. They knew he had medical issues.
That's what I said. Yeah, they already knew that.
You could have adopted a kid that didn't have any, but you chose to get one with though. Well, they didn't know what at least they didn't express to us that they didn't know, because they said they didn't want to talk about his medical diagnosis at first.
Mm-hmm.
But then once she started getting criticized,
all of a sudden, absolutely,
yeah, she started saying what he had, thinking that she's going to get compassion from people.
Right.
Then they realized they couldn't handle him. It was a little bit too much for them to do. And I do agree with the child should have left. What I'm saying is, don't see, I didn't volunteer for this. I was chosen for this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I had to, when we started to notice things was off when he was around about 2 years old, we took him in. He ended up getting diagnosed at 3 that he had autism. So then I had to start learning all of these things about autism, going to these meetings. And,
absolutely,
my son been going, well, he don't go anymore. He went from AP therapy, all these different therapies from 3 years old to 13.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it was 6 fucking days a week. This motherfucker had longer days than I had.
Yeah.
He started going to 4K at 3 years old. He's
Yeah.
been going to school since he was 3 years old. So what I'm saying is I didn't choose it. I was chosen.
Right.
They chose it. We can't handle it. So we're getting rid of them. Now, was it the best thing? Yes, I think two things can be true.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, don't choose a child with issues going into it when you skipped over all of the. You went to a whole nother motherfucking country when we got all these kids here that has no special. Now, all the special needs ones are the ones that get picked last. If they get picked at all, yes. But like I said, it takes, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the time special individuals to deal with these kids because it can be a lot. And the point that you were saying that we don't know them, we see what they put out to the world. That's very true. We only get a version of these people.
Absolutely.
So I'm not criticizing them to that standpoint. My criticism was more of you knew that he had medical issues.
Yeah.
You chose to go into it. And me personally, just me, S. Foster, I feel that you felt now, like you said, they was popping before they got them. All of those ad deals she had, you know, most of them before she even got them.
Right.
That's why I said at the beginning of the pod, greed takes over.
Absolutely.
Some people they get greedy and they don't be content. That's why I said if we were getting $1,000 a month, I'm not going to get greedy and try to take on too much and try to get us 25. I could be content with it. I think that they wasn't content, and I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with striving for better. There's never nothing wrong for striving for better. What I'm saying is I think that they would have been comfortable staying where they were and just keep having their own kids or whatever. But I felt that they was like, yo, this shit can take us through the roof if we get a fucking kid from another country with a.
I don't agree with, because you got to take into the fact. You got to take into the fact that they lost the kid before that.
They did, and then she ended up getting pregnant again.
I understand, but I'm saying her losing that kid, bro, that shit is different.
That still don't mean like that still don't take away from my point of you can adopt a child, but you didn't have to get one with special needs.
And you're right. You are definitely right. It doesn't. I'm not saying that it does. I'm saying that her losing that child, we don't know how that affected them personally. And that could have been a major reason of her saying, hey, let's adopt a child. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying what she picked or who she chose or none of that. Because I don't agree with that either. If you know you're not equipped to do something like that, don't take that route. I understand that you want to help and I understand you want to do something, but if you know you're not equipped or you don't think you're going to be equipped for that, that might be a little too much for you. I'd rather you not, and I'd rather the child go somewhere where they can really be properly taken care of. My point was more so not to you, but it was more so just to the people who were commenting and saying the things that they were saying because of those facts that they were not facts, because of those comments and the stuff that they were saying, like they were losing their brand deals, but there was nothing to back up the fact that they were saying that they did any of the shit these people were saying. These people were accusing these people of abusing this child and all of these other things. And all these companies had to see was just that. And they're like, oh yeah, nah, we're no longer associated with her. We're no longer, what people didn't even think about in that whole process was they still have other kids. They still have a livelihood that they have to uphold. They even came out and said, hey, listen, we just couldn't handle it. We don't really want to get into details because it's the medical thing is not something we should even be trying to get into. Because first off, they could be sued for even talking about the shit. So yeah, we're just going to leave it be, right? And just know that he's somewhere where he's being taken care of and everything else. You know, it hurts us a lot that we can't be there to take care of him and everything else, because to think that they didn't have any kind of bond with that kid, you got to be mistaken. You know, I know people were trying to make it seem like she was just doing this for the money, but at some point in time, bro, people are human, and when you do human things happen. So if you bonded with a kid, you're going to have some sort of connection with the kid. And it seemed like in some of the videos that he was adjusting to that life.
Yeah, but you still miss me with the duct tape, man. I've never seen anybody handle a situation by putting duct tape on the fucking kid hand. That's nuts. There's a whole bunch of different there's a
that
whole
is
other
true.
thing that
That
you
is
can
true.
do, but duct tape, come on, put a something like, come on, man. I ain't because so one thing Tay used to do was when he would get upset, and he even to this day, like his index finger, both of his index fingers are like swollen to shit. Like if you touch it, it feels like a fucking rock because he used to bite it so much. And then it got to a point where he would do it when he got happy, and so he would either get so it started out as anger, and then like sometimes when you get too happy, he would do it too. It never crossed my mind to put duct tape on his fucking fingers for him to stop biting it, because like it was like a self-harm type of thing. And all I could do is be like, yo, try not to bite yourself, and all this other stuff like that. And
But
eventually,
if they had something that would prevent that, would you go get it?
no, because I think that that's just something. Like I said, he grew out of it. He don't
Right,
do it.
but yeah, you speaking from now. I'm talking about putting yourself back in that moment as a parent. You're telling me that if it was something that you could use, if you could find a way to prevent him from doing that, right? And finding another way, maybe getting him, I don't know, like a mouth guard to put in his mouth, like how Steph Curry chew his mouth.
No, I used to give him a chew toy. Yeah, like
But
like
see, that's what I'm saying. Now, stuff like that, if it's those type of things that, right? So you saying like a chew toy?
yeah, like like you would get
Like a
like a
teething
teething
ring.
thing. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But once again, them not knowing, and I'm not saying it's right that they put duct tape on his hands. I'm not saying it's right. But for people to say like that's abuse, right? It's kind of a stretch. Be honest, that's kind of a stretch.
I don't know if I would call it abuse, but I mean, it
That's
would
what
be
I'm
kind.
saying.
It probably
So
wouldn't
like,
feel good taking that duct tape off though.
man, they might not, the duct tape might not even did shit for real. I done put duct tape on my hands before, and it wasn't the best duct tape. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I done had some duct tape that wasn't the best duct tape, and that shit didn't stick to nothing damn near from the dollar store. That shit didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, what's the difference of somebody biting their nails and you putting hot sauce on their fingers so they don't bite their nails?
I mean, I've heard because somebody said that maybe not hot sauce, but they was like, have you ever thought of putting something on his fingers? And I was like, nah.
That's what I'm saying. So for them, it was probably just a method at the time to just do something to be like, yo, we can't allow that. And so for people to start going into the thing, oh, they're abusing this kid and they're doing this and that, they trying to find a solution to help the kid the best way that they know how at the time. It wasn't like they was knocking the kid upside the head every time the kid was crying, or they kicked the kid down the stairs because they were sick of the kid's shit, or they locked the kid in the closet and start flicking lights and shit on. Like they're not doing nothing crazy, right? They just trying to find a simple solution to help this kid not do something that could possibly harm them. And so when the ad people start taking away the ads and all this other shit, yo, I was looking at that shit and I'm like, man, that's kind of fucked up. And what was even more fucked up was that lady, Sophie Ross. She was the main one. I didn't like her. I didn't like her at all because her whole thing was, oh, they just broadcasting they life and they doing all this. The whole time, her hating ass was just hating. Oh, I wonder what that one such and such is doing. I wonder what that one YouTuber is doing with the child with special needs and that. It's like, hey, man, you making up these narratives and you don't know what the fuck is going on either. You watching this shit like everybody else is watching this shit. And here you are, you the main fucking person making all of this shit, and you really want to talk about some motherfuckers that's doing it for clout. She was doing shit for clout because all of her followers was coming off of the tail end of her hating on this girl.
I mean, what you also, I mean, I know you understand it, but like people are any situation, people always try to make themselves an expert, right?
Exactly.
So you remember I told you, I tore my Achilles or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had to work. Yes, people, I delivered packages with a walking boot for 2.5 fucking months.
Mm-hmm.
Shit sucked. But now all of a sudden, everybody are Achilles experts all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So they be like, oh man, you got to work in that boot. Yeah. Like what happened? Oh, I tore my Achilles. Man, I went on this website and man, they got these weapons.
Exactly.
It's everybody always try to be an expert about some shit. Like that's what people are like. Anytime somebody happened, like everybody just act like they was parenting experts when it came
and that's my
them.
point. And that's my point. And none of that shit justifies the shit that they were saying. Because when this lady was making all this content and she was doing all this shit before this little boy got here, all you motherfuckers was loving her. And when the little boy got there, y'all loved her even more. And the one time that she did some shit that you motherfuckers ain't like, all of a sudden she's a horrible parent. She doesn't know. You don't know what the fuck this lady is doing in her life for real, bro. None of them had no kind of nothing, no knowledge of nothing except for what they seen in these videos. And from what I seen, it wasn't nothing in them videos that screamed abuse. It wasn't nothing in those videos that seemed like she was neglecting them kids or none of that. It seemed like they seen the situation, they took the opportunity for the situation, they got in a little bit way over their head, and they said, you know what? This is a little bit more than we could chew. Let's go ahead and make this shit right. They got on there and they said, hey, Huxley is no longer with us, and so on and so forth. And all of these people just start bombarding them and all this other shit. And then the fact that she in a situation where she's getting canceled for what? Because she said we're not gonna spend $500 on a vocal on a speech coach. We'll just go to the one that's 70. You don't know what the fuck is going on. Shit, anything could happen. No, the medical expenses might be getting higher. He might be going to different treatments. Like you don't know any of that shit. And then they talking about, oh, she had a $6,500 what Cartier bracelet on. Who do any of them know how she got that bracelet? Was the receipt hanging off the bracelet with all her information and her card number and shit on there? You don't know what the fuck is going on. Cartier might have sent the shit to her. She's an influencer.
Yeah.
Shit, they were sending her free laundry detergent. So that's the thing that I'm talking about. Like, bro, these motherfuckers just get on here and just be saying anything, man. And once again, I'm not on this lady's side at all. I'm really not. I know it sounds like I'm caping for it, and I know it sounds like I'm taking up for it. I'm more so shitting on these people in the comments and this lady on Twitter with all this bullshit, because what ends up ultimately happening is this. Somebody's life got ruined over some shit on the internet. Now, all of this shit that these people was doing, right? What happens if this lady is sitting in a situation to where she done lost her channel, she done lost all her sponsorships, and she goes off and she unalives herself?
I'm not gonna feel bad. Go out here and get a job like the rest of us.
Nah, man, that's nah. Because
I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck. Call me a bad person. I've been working almost not consistently.
Well, it's not about the working part. It's about the part that, and when I say lose the sponsorships and everything else, I'm saying just as far as the progress that she's made, right? To get to that point, whatever it was, to get to that point. Once that progress is now diminished because of these same people who brought you up are now bringing you down, and for her, it's some shit to where she might not be strong enough to take that shit. Y'all keep getting on this shit, and y'all happy that y'all canceling her and all this, and this bitch over here on Twitter doing all this shit, talking crazy, and now this lady go unalives herself. Yo, that's on their hands.
I don't know if I agree with that.
That's on their hands,
because that's just, you remember that dude, light-skinned dude, I forget what his name was, but everybody thought like they was making fun of him because he was working at Trader Joe's. You remember that shit? And then
The dude
50
from the
had ended
Cosby
up.
Show.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name. And 50 ended up because so
It
like
was Tyler
everybody
Perry.
was. It was Tyler Perry first,
Yeah,
but I
it
think
was
he
Tyler
showed
Perry.
up on. I think he showed up. I feel like he showed up on Power somewhere too.
His career basically got revived. Yeah.
Yeah, it got revived because people
Right.
was making fun of because breaking.
Right.
Okay, so basically what I'm saying is actors are more than likely mostly unemployed. Like a lot of these dudes don't.
No,
But
yeah,
we see
they are unemployed unless they are acting. Yeah, for sure.
exactly. So what I'm saying is people were making fun of him for working at Trader Joe's, and it was like,
But that's
well,
not the
what else you
same.
expect?
It's
But
not the
what
same.
I'm saying is he was a working actor. He wasn't
Mm-hmm.
popping no more. What did he do when he wasn't popping? That's all I'm
He
saying. What
went
did
to
he
go
do when he
work.
wasn't popping? Exactly.
Yeah, but that's what. But what I'm saying is that's not the same thing, though. It's not the same thing at all. Because when he stopped working in the fucking 90s. This niggas on the Cosby Show in the 90s. It wasn't like niggas was writing in, "Hey man, get this bitch ass nigga off the Cosby Show." Nobody was doing that.
No, I see what you
The
said.
Cosby Show ended. He stopped working. He couldn't find any other roles or whatever, or the roles that he was getting didn't do nothing. And then who's to say that the shit that he did with the Cosbys wasn't holding him over? He just wanted to go work because he couldn't do shit else. He didn't have shit else to do. He got bored. Hey, I'm gonna go work at Trader Joe's.
I hear what you said. I guess the only point that I was trying to make was he didn't look at it like, oh, I can't get any work in Hollywood, and I just can't take the pressure. Because there are some people who were the one dude that was in Ladybugs, the dude that they had playing a girl, in that movie. Man, we did the podcast on it.
Yeah, man, I don't remember Ladybug.
Well, anyway, so he was a child star, right? Started getting older, his roles started going down.
Right.
People really stopped fucking with him.
Right.
He unalived himself. And people were saying that he was really depressed that his career wasn't going the way that he wanted to go. And that happens, some kid stars, everybody think you all cute and stuff as a kid, then you start, maturing and stuff like that. And it's like you ain't really popping no more. And that happens. Some of them do end up unaliving themselves.
Right.
That's the reason why I know what you're saying. You're saying that just because people are basically cyberbullying. And
no, not even the cyberbullying. These people brought you to this point. This is what I'm saying. It's not about the job shit. Who cares about the job? Who cares about if she was working or not? That's irrelevant. I'm saying these people, they showed you some type of love and they boosted you up to a point. And once you got to a certain point and they seen some shit that they didn't like, they started to diminish you and bring you back down to further than where the fuck you was before they even got there. So now you're constantly getting bombarded and talked about, and all of this shit that's around you is now crumbling. I'm not saying that this shit happened for real. I'm saying, what if at some point in time it got to be too much for this lady? Because you got to remember, her life is the internet at this point in time. It's not a movie that you could put up and then this movie trash and never watch again, and she never hears about it. This is her focus. Like this is what she does, and she's constantly seeing this shit. So it's something that's mentally is gonna get to you. As much as people try to act like it's not a real thing, that shit is real. It's gonna get to you. Like I said, you could shut the computer off, but this is her life. This is what she does. So now ain't nobody fucking with her. All the people that was like, "Oh man, you doing a great job," they gone. They done turn their back on her. What if at that point in time, when all these people are saying the shit that they saying, she goes to unalive herself? Bro, that's you. People have to learn to be more careful about how they react and respond to some shit on the internet. Everybody don't got tough skin. Luckily, and fortunately, this lady didn't go that route. We don't even know what the fuck happened to her. The lady, the bitch on Twitter was talking about, well, yeah, we still don't even know where she's in. We haven't heard from her since. And she happy about the shit.
I mean, we can get to the five flame because I hear what you're saying, but I just don't have sympathy for certain people. It's like you got to a height from your fans and now you're at a low from your fans. Like So it's just like, okay, figure something else out. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just I don't. That's just like a whole thing of like, you know, Lauryn Hill, X Factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker say, you know, every time I try to leave, he says he's gonna hurt himself to make her stay. You don't stay with a motherfucker because they say they're gonna hurt themselves. You gotta
Yes, you
have
do.
the fuck that. Hell no.
Because you love, see, that's what I'm saying. You love that person. Regardless of how they made you feel and what they did to you, you have love for that person. The last thing you want to do is in your head, the last thing you want to do is to leave this person. Something happens to them, and you feel like it's because of you. You don't want that on your conscience.
So okay. So I broke up with a girl in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I dated this girl for 2 years in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Broke up with her. She stopped going to school. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that my fault?
What did she stop going to school for?
When we broke up,
Mm-hmm.
she never returned to school.
That don't mean that she stopped going to school because y'all broke up. I'm saying, what did she stop going to school for? It could be anything. They could have moved.
But that's what I'm saying. But people were blaming me. They was like, man, you broke up with that girl and that girl didn't come back to school.
But that's what I'm saying.
like,
but okay, so were those same people like, man, you need to get with that girl. You need to go ahead and be with that girl.
Well, no, because I made my decision.
Right. That's my
But
point.
what I'm
That's
saying
what I'm saying. It's
but
them same people. Them same people, just because they saying, "Oh man, you made a break," it don't have the same effect. If they was the same people telling you and forcing you and peer pressuring you to get with this girl, and then when that shit happened, they the same people that's saying it, then that has a totally different effect. Because now you like, you motherfuckers, y'all the one who told me to go get with her.
Yeah, I see the point that you're saying, but what I'm saying is like, I'm talking about the last thing that you said.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened to me before, where a girl threatened to hurt herself.
Right.
When I broke up with her.
Right.
I didn't change my decision. And if you did something to yourself, that was a decision you made. It's called self-transition. You can't make somebody self-transition.
But it's a thing of empathy. It doesn't have anything to do with you making a decision or anything like that. It's empathy, bro. Because you have feelings for somebody. Obviously, you didn't have feelings for it no more. Right?
No. It's not that I didn't have feelings for him anymore. It was I've made like we were dating, we were not dating, and it was like, because my thing is when you try to hold that over somebody's head and try to say I'm going to harm myself, and if you jump back into it, you're setting the precedent of every time we have a fucking hiccup and we're gonna break up, you're gonna say you're gonna hurt yourself. You don't hold that over people's head. That's a selfish decision. I don't think you do stuff like that.
I agree 1,000%.
And I'm not gonna, but I'm not going.
However, there are people that do that, and there are people that are in love with those people and have empathy for those people and feelings for those people, and they still care for those people, that they don't want to see that happen to that person, regardless of what the situation is. So sometimes, if I gotta at least just not even stay with you, but just be close to you to where you feel like we still together, just to keep you alive, I'll do that. Sometimes people make those sacrifices.
I guess I'm cold-hearted then. Call me an asshole. I'm not letting nobody control my life, because now, did I want something to happen to them? No, but you're not controlling my life. That's controlling
that's what I'm saying. Some people don't even, when they hear stuff like that, they don't even think about my life being controlled. They instantly go into the empathy part of, I don't want this person to hurt themselves. They're not even worrying about that control part. The control part don't even, if somebody's talking about unaliving themselves, control don't even come to your mind. You're more so worried about them not doing that because you care for that person.
See, I don't want to say who it is. I think
don't do that. I know. Don't.
But what I'm saying is, no, because I care. I do care about the person.
And I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying in that situation, though, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes that empathy kicks in where you don't care about nothing else at that point, because you like, nah, man, I don't want that to be something that I even have to think about. I don't want that person to even have to go through that. So I would rather just stay close to you so you don't have to go through that. Even if sometimes you don't even believe that they're gonna do the shit. But it's more so just the fact that you just don't want that to happen to that person. Because in the instance that it does happen, it sounds good when you say I don't care until it happens and you like, damn, this motherfucker really did that shit. And shit, that'll wear down on you. Not you specifically, just people.
Yeah,
It'll wear down on you.
I hear what you're saying, but I just feel like I got too much going on in my own life to be said. It's just like Uncle Washington used to say, and we'll go to end of what's name. Uncle Washington used to say, like, how did he word it? He would say, it's not my job to try to help you get into heaven. I got a hard time getting there myself. He used to say that all the time of like, I'm having a struggle of trying to get to heaven myself. I can't sit there and try to help you get there as well. And I guess what I'm saying with that is, it's like, basically, I got a hard enough time keeping myself and my kids alive than to sit around and try to. I ain't gonna say that because that's kind of fucked up to say. I guess what I'm trying to say, I don't want to come off like an asshole. I really don't, because I'm not. My problem is, the biggest problem I got in life is I love too hard. That's my problem.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. Some people love harder than you do.
But
they would rather stay in a situation that doesn't benefit them than to see somebody kill themselves. That's all.
Well, hey, that's y'all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, to each his own, for sure. But I mean, that shit happens. That's just like it's some women who and I don't understand it. It's some women who will be in a situation where they're getting abused by their partner and would rather their partner stay home than to go to jail. And for the life of me, it's something that I'll never understand. But I do understand that you can love somebody so much that you just don't want anything bad to happen to them, even at the detriment of yourself sometimes. I understand those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is something that happens consistently, and it's a wide array of ways that it happens. It's just I can get why somebody wouldn't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just one of those things you don't want to see somebody go through, I think.
Yeah.
So let's get into the Fire Flames, man.
Let's do it.
Yoga Fire. Yoga Flame.
I'm going first.
All right.
2.5. This was a stupid fucking documentary. Okay. This shit didn't give us no information on nothing. We don't know what happened to the lady. We don't know where the fuck Huxley is. Okay. We don't know why this shit came out. We don't know what this shit was even for. All I know is that this was just a promotion for fucking family YouTube pages.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't understand what the fuck the point was. Here I am thinking, once again, like you said, I'm thinking they're gonna kill the kid. They done sold the kid or something. Maybe the FBI has unveiled a kid selling Rico. No, none of this shit. All I know is my nigga went off to better pastures and they lost their goddamn YouTube page. What the fuck type of ending was that? 3 episodes just to tell us that? They could have did that shit in one fell swoop. This shit could have been an hour and 30 minutes max. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 2.5. This shit was horrible.
Okay, so I'm with you because the way that they sold it, it made me feel like this kid was buried in the backyard.
Bro, remember how hype I was telling you about the trailer?
Yes, and that's why I texted you. I was like, yo, I said, am I watching the right thing, bro? Because I'm watching this shit. I'm like, yo, this is not going the way I expected it.
God.
So I'm watching this. I'm like, yo, like, and then once it got to the end, like the people didn't want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
That all we got was there was a welfare check. They checked with the new family. They said Huxley was good, all that type shit. It's like that's all we got, really. I'm giving this shit a 1, bro.
The Stofers probably changed their name. They done created a new YouTube page.
Man, that girl that got plastic surgery, everything.
That's all I'm saying, bro. You know what I'm saying? She pawned in that bracelet and they live in the high life. We don't know what the fuck is going on no more, bro. This shit was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm giving it a 1. I don't even know if I ever gave anything a 1 before, but
Absolutely.
this shit is a 1. Fuck this doc,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely, bro. Let's get into coming soon.
Yes, sir.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
All right, man. This next episode is probably going to be a lot more entertaining. Because this is actually about something, and it actually has an ending.
Hold on, wait, whoa. You remember what we was gonna do for Patreon? I thought we were doing that next.
Oh, you're right. We're doing top 5.
What are you gonna do it like that? Oh, I thought we were just gonna. Yeah, we could do that.
Well, it ain't gotta be top 5. We could just do top. We could just say top.
The biggest haters in film, man.
Yeah, biggest haters in film.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me because I never put it back in the notes. So because I was damn sure about to tell you about the movie next. Anyway, good call, my brother. Good call, my brother. We are doing the biggest haters in film, man. That's right. Those guys that when you watch the movie, you like, this nigga is a bitch ass nigga. Those guys. You know what I'm saying? Those are the guys we talking about. So buckle up. You know what I'm saying? Get ready. If you got some haters, hey, hit us on them socials and let us know. Tell us. You know what I'm saying? We might even have something in common. So stay tuned for the next episode. And then also don't forget, we just released a new Patreon episode. So jump on that ASAP. Get there. Go listen to it. Tell us what you think. You can comment on Patreon. You don't got to go find us on socials or none of that. You can just comment on the Patreon. Join up. All of the links to join us on socials and Patreon and all that stuff is in the description, as well as getting your 10% off of your W order. The link is also in the description as well. So if you don't want to, type words in and all that good stuff, you can click those links and get there. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. As always, your support is greatly appreciated. Oh, hold on, I'm tripping. Went a little too fast. If you like this episode, if you didn't like this episode, if you two are still trying to figure out what the fuck any of this shit had to do with anything, and why did we have to figure out and learn about family YouTube videos, hit us up on the socials. Me personally at X, at Scooch Bronson. Got a link tree in the bio. You can follow me everywhere else there.
And y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram, TikTok, and X. Follow the podcast, 28 minutes or less. What's the last episode I did? Oh, To Catch a Killer. So go check that out on all major platforms, and that's it.
Absolutely, man. Now listen, back to it. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. As always, your support is greatly appreciated. Without you, there could be no us. And like they say in Hollywood, until the next episode, like they say in Hollywood. Damn, I'm messing this all up. The whole outro. I'm sorry. Like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.
Man, I gotta do better.